What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Full 90. It is time, of course, for one of the fan favorites of the channel, the Champions League predictions. The action is non-stop, and today we have the Week 2 predictions. If you want to get involved, then please do leave your predictions down in the comments below, as I and everyone watching these videos loves to read them, compare them, and see what kind of picks we can all make. I have had quite a few comments asking if I could do Europa League, but at the moment, I don't really have the time to commit to the Europa League group stage, as well as the Champions League and the Premier League, because this is just a side hobby for me. This isn't my full-time job or anything like that, so I don't have the time for that just yet. But before we go into Week 2, if we take a little look back at Week 1, not all of the predictions, but some notable ones include me correctly predicting Juventus to beat Dynamo Kiev 2-0. I had Barcelona to win by 4 goals, and they did, but, you know, nothing really that crazy. RB Leipzig to win in the way they did. I had Liverpool to win. Some people didn't think they would, but I did have that, and I did have a really nice little fourfold, actually. It was Bayern Munich, Barcelona and Atalanta to win with over 3.5 goals, and Manchester City to win with both teams to score, and absolutely nailed it. So I'm happy with that one. Atalanta did the business. Bayern Munich, oh my days. I'm telling you now, like I said last season, I think from the knockout stages, I said that Bayern Munich were going to win the Champions League. I'm calling it now. Bayern Munich are going to win the Champions League again. They are the bookies' favourites, but at odds of, I think, 4.0, you've got to, it's worth a shot, and I think Bayern Munich are going to win the Champions League. But anyway, let's get into Week 2, kicking it off with Lokomotiv Moscow up against Bayern Munich. Moscow almost gave Salzburg a bit of a fright, taking the lead in the previous Champions League match, but obviously they did claw back and get a 2-2 draw, which is it's pretty impressive, to be fair. I had Salzburg winning that one comfortably, but Moscow went 1-0 up, then they went 2-1 down, but had the fight to come back 2-2. But Bayern Munich, they are a different level, and I think Lokomotiv Moscow are going to score. I think they have the quality to do that, but I'm going to go for a 5-1 win to Bayern Munich. The next game, Shakhtar Donetsk up against Inter Milan. Now, I really like Shakhtar Donetsk. Shakhtar had a pretty lengthy list of injuries against Real Madrid, so I thought that might come into the game a little bit. I had Real Madrid winning 2-1, but I definitely didn't write off Shakhtar entirely. Inter Milan, I had them to beat Monchengladbach 2-0, and that was a 2-2 draw. Monchengladbach showed what they were made of, and showed that possibly Inter Milan do have a few problems at the back, even though, you know, Lukaku cannot stop scoring. So I'm going to go for another score draw, 2-2 between Shakhtar Donetsk and Inter Milan. Shakhtar have had a great start. Inter Milan will be disappointed with their draw, and I think Shakhtar could put themselves at the top of the group here with a draw. Coming up after that, we have Atalanta up against Ajax. Atalanta dispatching of Midtjylland, and Ajax failing to really get anything out of the Liverpool game. That was probably their best chance against Liverpool, but this isn't, as I said in that video, this isn't the Ajax of a couple of years ago, where they've got all their really good players playing for them. So I think Atalanta is their second season. I see no second season syndrome here. They're doing really well in Serie A. They're scoring a load of goals, and they continued that in the Champions League. So I'm going to back Atalanta like I did in the first week. I'm going to go for a 2-1 home win to the Italian side. Ajax could pull back a draw. They could even win, because obviously Atalanta last season, they lost their first 3 group stage games and then picked up from there. But I'm going to go for an Atalanta win. Now, coming up after that, we have Atletico Madrid up against Salzburg. Now, surely questions have got to be asked of this Atletico Madrid side after shipping 4 against Bayern Munich. I know Bayern are the best team in the world, but Atletico Madrid are renowned for, even against the better teams, only conceding maybe 1 or 2, but winning the game ultimately 1-2-0, 2-1 here and there. And I think that really is quite telling, and it shows the true gap in quality between those pushing towards the top like Atletico Madrid and those at the top like Bayern Munich. Absolutely unstoppable. I think Atletico Madrid are going to get back to winning ways, because they are just better, slightly better than FC Salzburg, but it's going to be a close one. I think Atletico Madrid will concede as a result of their recent form, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 home win to Atletico Madrid. Now, next up, I'm seeing some fireworks here. It is Borussia Monchengladbach up against Real Madrid, and I am predicting a scoreline. I'm not sure if I've ever predicted in a video. If I have, I certainly haven't got it correct, but I'm going to go for it either way. I'm going to go for a 3-3 draw. I was going to go 2-2, but I thought, you know what? Let's just whack it up. There were so many goals in their games. I think there were 9 goals combined in their 2 games, 2-2 and 3-2. So when that goes together, let's just make more goals. 3-3. That's the way football seems to be going this season, so I think it's going to be high scoring. I think both teams will score. Real Madrid should win, but Monchengladbach at home is a tough task, so I'm going to go for a 3-3. Coming up after that, we have FC Porto up against Olympiakos. The Porto performance against Manchester City was very much what I expected. It wasn't terrible, but Man City are just better than Porto. And Olympiakos did very, very well to beat Marseille. I predicted a 1-1 draw, but I did say that Olympiakos are very good at getting 1-0 wins, 2-0 wins, and they are in red-hot form, especially at home. They score not that many goals, but they very rarely concede even a single goal. This is away from home, and Porto are a level above Marseille. I would say, it's Marseille and then Olympiakos and Porto sort of toying around that middle bit, and then Man City again. Porto did okay against Man City. I mean, I always thought they were going to lose. I'm going to give Porto the benefit of the doubt here and the edge in this home fixture, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. Typically not very Olympiakos-like to concede 2 goals, but Porto are a decent team and they are a force to be reckoned with. Coming up after that, we have Liverpool up against Midtjylland. There's not really a lot for me to say about this. I think Liverpool will use this game to rotate their squad, knowing that the opposition is weaker. And whilst I think Midtjylland, they must be very, very grateful to be in the tournament, I just don't see anything other than a comfortable Liverpool win here. So I'm going to go for a 3-0. Now, coming up after that, we have the M's, Marseille, up against Manchester City. Now, Marseille, they lost out to Olympiakos, which is going to be a tough result for them. They really would have liked the 1-1 draw, as they've been so famously getting lately, to sort of kick off their campaign with at least a point, which would have been a great point, granted, away from home in Greece. But this is going to be very, very tough for Marseille. I don't think there's going to be fireworks. I think Man City are just going to get the business done and do what's necessary. So I'm going to go for one of those more subdued victories, kind of like when Man City beat Arsenal in the Premier League. Sort of nothing too crazy. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Manchester City. Now, after that, we have strugglers Istanbul Basaksehir up against PSG. They failed to score against RB Leipzig. They're right down at the bottom of the Turkish Super League, and I don't see them getting anything from PSG. And PSG will need to get a win here, and a convincing one at that, after losing to Manchester United in Week 1. So I'm going to go for a 3-0 away win to PSG, and I think Mbappe is going to score at least 2 goals. The next fixture is Krasnodar up against Chelsea. Now, Chelsea need to ensure that they don't slip up here. Naturally, they are, a Premier League team, a very good team. They are the bookies' favourites for this fixture, but it could prove a little bit difficult for them going away to Krasnodar. There's a reason that they are here in this tournament. I'm going to give Chelsea the edge, but I think it would be a little bit nervy for Chelsea. I think it's going to be a bit of a slow start. I could see there being no goals after the first 20 minutes, but I do think Chelsea are going to have enough to get the win, and their first win of the Champions League group stage. I'm going to go for a 2-1 away win, but keep your eyes peeled on that one. The next game, Borussia Dortmund up against Zenit St. Petersburg. Both teams' favourites to win their first week fixture, but they both lost. Dortmund losing to a very impressive Lazio performance, and Zenit St. Petersburg losing at the last minute to a very much in-form Club Brugge side. So this is going to be a very important fixture for both teams, and unluckily for Zenit, it's away to Borussia Dortmund, who are going to want to make a statement here. They perform well at home. I expect them to score at least 2 goals, but I'm going to go for 3 goals. I think Zenit do have a goal in them, and Borussia Dortmund do have a leaky defence in them sometimes, so I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Dortmund in this fixture. Now, coming up after that, we do have High Flyers Club Brugge up against Lazio. Lazio, they pulled off a fantastic result against Dortmund. They've been a little bit hit and miss in Serie A at the moment, but I do think they are a decent team. Away from home, however, at Club Brugge, I think they're going to struggle to get the win. I think Brugge are very solid at home, and they will be buoyed by their result against Zenit St. Petersburg, so I can't separate the two teams for that reason. I'm going to go for a low-scoring 1-1 draw. Seems a little bit crazy for me when Lazio have the likes of Immobile, who shows no signs of slowing down when it comes to scoring goals, but Club Brugge do have a pretty decent defence. I think it could be 1-1 or 2-1 either way, so I'm going to go for 1-1 in the middle. After this, we have Ferencváros up against Dynamo Kiev. Kiev, in the end, beaten fairly comfortably, easily by a slightly weakened Juventus. Morata had a fantastic game, and Ferencváros scoring a consolation against a Barcelona team that was always going to walk that game. I should have put a -3 handicap bet on that. I think it would have got you odds of at least like 2.5, which is pretty good for a game in that situation. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. Both teams are going to see this as a really good opportunity to get 3 points, and I think their equal desire to win the game will actually see them cancel each other out with a high-scoring game. So I'm going to go 2-2 between the two teams. The only time these two met previously was a club-friendly game back in 2013, and it ended 3-2. I forget which way round it was. So I think this is going to be another high-scoring affair, and I'm going to go for 2-2. Now, after this, we have probably one of the games of the week. I don't think Cristiano Ronaldo is eligible to play, having tested positive for the virus once again, 9 days after his previous first positive test, but it is Juventus up against Barcelona. Sort of helps Juve that it is, in fact, in Italy as opposed to the new camp, but Barcelona, they do look like they're scoring some goals. Fati is in emphatic form, and Messi is still scoring the goals. He scored, I believe, 69 Champions League goals, which is higher than any other player. It was either Champions League goals or group stage goals. Either way, Messi is smashing it. In fact, because I think it probably is group stage goals, because I'm 99% certain Cristiano Ronaldo should have the Champions League goal scoring record. But either way, I think given that Juventus are going to be missing Ronaldo, and this is a really, really big test for them in this competition, I'm going to predict a Barcelona away win. I don't think Barcelona will be the favourites in this game, but I really do think Juventus not having Ronaldo will genuinely make a big impact. There aren't many players I would say that for, and certainly not to this extent. But Barcelona are, of course, a great team. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 away win to Barcelona. That would be a pretty mental prediction if that came in. To predict a winner out of two teams that good is always going to be difficult. But I do think Barcelona, given that Ronaldo won't be playing, might just get the edge. Next up, arguably the second best game of the week. It is Manchester United up against RB Leipzig. The two teams share the top spot of the group. Man United, well, RB Leipzig ahead on goal difference. Leipzig comfortably beating Istanbul Basaksehir. Angelino scoring again. He just seems to love scoring goals for Leipzig ever since leaving the Premier League. And Manchester United looking good. At the time of recording, they haven't played Chelsea in the Premier League, and Leipzig haven't played, I believe it's Hertha Berlin in the Bundesliga. But I do expect goals in both of those games, and I do expect goals in this game. Man United look rejuvenated, revitalised after the international break and the dismal performance against Tottenham ending 6-1. So I think Manchester United are going to finally make a good account of themselves at Old Trafford. They've been performing much better away from home these days, and Old Trafford, they've been struggling a little bit. Again, I don't know if they beat Chelsea, but I'm going to go for a high-scoring game because, I mean, it's Leipzig. It's going to be a high-scoring game. Sabitzer, I believe, was out in the first week. I'm not sure if he's going to be back, but I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. And weirdly enough, I think because Manchester United have already beaten PSG away, I think United would take a draw here, much more so than Leipzig, because Leipzig beat Istanbul, which they were always going to be expected to do, especially at home. But United have got that away win at PSG under their belt, which they'd expect Leipzig probably not to get. So I think United would actually be happy with a draw here, so I'm going to go for a 2-2. Now, the final game, it is Sevilla up against Rennes. Sevilla have been looking very, very good. They're winning a lot of games. Their home games are pretty much like Olympiakos' home games. It's 1 or 2-0 either way, and that's the way I see this going. Rennes, they're doing just fine in Liga. They're right near the top still. I think they've had some favourable fixtures, and they did draw, I think, against Krasnodar in the previous round of fixtures, which you'd expect them to get the win at home. So I think Sevilla are going to win this one comfortably, and I'm going to go for a 2-0 win. So that is going to do it for all my predictions for the Champions League game week number 2. If you want to get involved with these videos, as I've said, leave your predictions down in the comments below. Any tips you might have. It's always very exciting for me to read your comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe, as we're on the road to 20,000 subscribers, I suppose. And yeah, I will see you in the next video very soon.